Hello there! Happy New Year and welcome back to TerraFirmaCraft HardRock. Hope you're having a wonderful day and that you're not suffering too much from your celebrations the other night. We got a few things to cover quickly. Do you notice we have the light on behind me? It was pointed out to me that if you put the create connector on top of the LV wire, it will transfer power as long as you have it on push. And then you can connect a wire from the LV connector directly to the lantern. I tried saying lantern and lamp together. Then I went for lamp. Yeah, it's lantern. Anyway, that does work. It's a little clunky looking, but that means that what we could do is provide power to connector or to a relay and then relay it all to these connectors to power the lanterns, so we can still light up the base using these, which would be nice so I don't have to worry about torches anymore. So it's going to take a little bit of planning out, but that should be, well, very nice. Second thing, now it's been a very long time since I used PneumaticCraft. When I did, I was pretty sure you couldn't use glass for all the blocks. I did not fully read this tooltip. It does say here, pressure chamber walls and glass can be used interchangeably. But I've been pointed out, and it sounds right because this is how it was last time I played PneumaticCraft, who knows how long ago. The corners have to be the chamber walls. So if we do a 3x3, you know, these 8 blocks plus the one up and then the 8 top, you know, they all would have to be the chamber walls. And then the middle blocks could be glass if you wanted. As it is, one of them is going to have to be the valve and the other one is going to have to be the interface, which means we could use, what, 4 glass? We're probably just going to make one, have it as a view window into the chamber. But I need to make a lot more compressed iron. On that note, I had a very large stack of iron before. We are turning it into compressed iron. Unfortunately, the return rate was kind of bad. I threw one of these at 12 ingots and I got 6. So it was a 50% loss rate instead of a 33% loss rate. I already forgot how much compressed iron I need. That takes a double sheet. We need 26 of them. 52 ingots, which is 104 raw iron. And that's not including the fact that we need to make compressed iron mesh in order to make these reinforced blocks. These you do get you get 8 mesh per double ingot. So we need about 110 ingots. I'm going to need a lot more iron. I'm not going to do the math. Oh, another thing pointed out to me. This could be very useful and we're going to look into doing it very shortly is, now I mentioned this a while back. From Tinker's Construct, we can make a silky cloth. Silky cloth, when applied to a Tinker's Construct tool, will give it the silky modifier, which is Silk Touch. Not silk. Yeah, Silk Touch. We can Silk Touch TerraFirmaCraft ores. I'm looking at lignite and bituminous coal, which we can then put through the crusher and get 4 times the return. So if we look at, well, let's look at hematite. Poor hematite ore. If we silk touch this and toss it into the crusher, we'll get, that's actually really bad. That one's bad. What about, yeah, never mind. This is a bad return. Because a rich hematite will give us 1 of these, which will give us 7 of those, which will give, wait. What is iron dust? Iron dust is 1 ingot, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, scratch what I was just saying. 1 rich hematite gives us 7 chunks, which becomes 7 plus whatever overflow you have of the dust, which is 35 units, or 35 millibuckets. You need 100 millibuckets. So you need, what is it? Every 5 rich will give you like 2 or 3 ingots, whereas this 1 rich will give you 2 ingots. And then some nickel grit also, which can be turned into nickel, and I need nickel. Okay, so scratch what I was saying. We're going to make a silk touch pick so we can silk touch the hematite. I know I can enchant the drill. I'm pretty sure the only enchantments though were 3x3. Yeah, okay. So we cannot put Silk Touch on this drill. That's fine. We can make a pick specifically for Silk Touching. We're going to look at doing that in addition to having the regular drill running and collecting ores. That way we can then Silk Touch regular ores and crush them down and get a better return. I do believe we can only use... That needs the arc furnace. We can melt it down in a foundry or the smeltery and then cast it that way. That's good to know. So we don't need the arc furnace in order to turn that iron into something usable, but arc furnace is going to be quicker. Which brings me to my third point that I was going to mention and forgot. The large connectors from Create Power Add-on or whatever the mod is, they count as HV cables. We don't need a transformer or anything. So long as we can provide this with enough power, these will work perfectly fine for providing the arc furnace power. So I still need to make this. I need to make the pressure chamber. So I'm going to go spend the rest of my life doing this. No, I'm going to spend time working on that, and I'll be back when we are ready to actually start building them. Hopefully. That was a bad return. Yeah, that was a really bad return. We just managed to turn... Yeah, we just managed to turn 56 double ingots of iron into 29 ingots of compressed iron. Alright, let's take a minute and just make these silky cloth. Rose gold is pretty easy to make. 15 to 30% copper and 70 to 85% gold. I did 1 copper ingot, 4 gold ingots, gives you 5 rose gold. Wrap that with 8 bits of string. It can also be plant fiber or yarn. That gives us these silky cloth. I don't know if I need all 5 or if I just need 1. But here we have our steel pickaxe that we're making. Steel head, flint handle, copper binding. We go over here, put that there. Looks like we're going to need more than just 1. And since the image did show 5, yep, we need 5. So that gives it the silky modifier you see there. Now, that means this should now be Silk Touch. Should theoretically Silk Touch the grass. It did not. Okay. Well, what about a stone? What's the chances of a creeper waiting for me down here? Huh, go figure. There isn't one. Okay, let's try to Silk Touch this. No, that didn't work. What about this? That didn't work either. Okay, so Silk Touch on this didn't work. Well, that was worth at least testing. I wonder if it'll work on nether items. By the way, there's a bastion right here. We'll go explore that in the future. Okay, so it does work on nether items, but it doesn't work on TerraFirmaCraft items. And this should be just about everything we need. So we got a bunch of stone bricks here we need to make. We need those. I can apply them this way, or I can use the deployer. The deployer is easier to automate. So you know what? Let's plop a bunch down and let that run for a moment. And what we're going to need to do is we're going to make one pressure chamber, one pressure chamber interface, valve, one glass, and the rest are going to be walls. We also need to make the air compressor. I was looking at making a safety tube here. The safety tube will release when the pressure reaches here 4.9 bar, since PneumaticCraft has this feature where if you get too much pressure in the chamber, it explodes. Now, if we're just using the air compressor here, it can only produce a maximum of 5 bar of pressure. So that's not going to be an issue. So we shouldn't have to worry about any explosions coming from the chamber that we're about to build. So I don't need to worry too much about making this safety tube yet. If we were though, we would need one of these pressure tubes, which you got a bunch of from the nether, plus a pressure gauge, which are 2 compressed iron rods. You get 2 rods per compressed iron ingot. And then this analog voltmeter, which require a bit of iron, bit of redstone, and a comparator. So we're going to skip that for now. We will hopefully not need it, but we can start making the blast furnace here. So steel, fluid output, and smooth stone. And that's that. The pressure chamber takes that. Oh, we're going to need another one of those, I think. Sorry, the air compressor. So that's the air compressor. We can stick fuel in here. We can get upgrades. I don't know about the upgrades yet. We'll look at that later. To build up pressure, I'll go through these pressure tubes, which I think we hook up right like that to our chamber, which will not stay here, but we're going to set up here just for the sake of setting it up. What was the glass required? Glass was just compressed iron on a glass block. Okay. I misclicked. We want the valve, pressure chamber valve. That's a wall plus a pipe. So, we need to actually use the deployer. We can't do it the way we apply with other stuff. So that's the valve. So that's gonna go right here, so that can plug in. Put these down and apply those. Going to do another layer. That one is going to become our interface. And this one we can just apply the hopper to like that. Did I misunderstand this? No, the valve definitely goes into there. Huh. Okay, well, we can then take these and finish making those. And put these on top. I apparently made more reinforced blocks than I needed. That might not be able to go there. There we go. So that's the pressure chamber. I am fairly confident we put the items into here and they will put them into there. What do we need for the HTTP? We needed coke dust and HOP graphite dust. Right, and so we need to make the industrial squeezer next. I have not yet prepped this, so that's my next task. But what we're going to do, or what we can now do, is we can put coal in here. That will start to power up the compressor, which will push air into the chamber, which will allow us to create, well, things like this graphite powder. We could also combine sheets and ingots without needing to heat them anymore. Looks like we can make mechanism pipes this way also. We're going to need this for refined storage. We're going to need it for the compressed steel, which we need for the rockets for Beyond Earth. So yeah, we're going to need it for a lot of stuff. Magic Twilight Crystal. I think this is what you need in order to actually access the Twilight Forest in this mod pack. And you need, yeah, some of these things are from Beyond Earth. So whereas in normal Twilight Forest, you build the 2x2 hole with water blocks in it, and then you surround it with flowers, and then you throw a diamond in. In this case, I think we need to throw this Magic Twilight Crystal in. Alright, well, now it's time to go start making the Industrial Squeezer. Well, that's an unfortunate day. Especially since we're about to test this. I need to make 15 or so steel fences in order to make the Squeezer. And if we go back to this, I mean, look, we can make the fences using the pressure chamber. Well, we just built the pressure chamber, so we might as well test it out. If I can figure out how to input into it. Oh, you know what? I'm pretty sure you're supposed to do it this way. Toss that in. Toss that in. Do that. And then turn this on. So this is taking a long time. Insufficient pressure. Okay, but it's building. In order to make the scaffolding, or at least the fences, we need it to be... I think it needs to hit that green. There we go. Pressure of 4.5. And we're currently at 0.3. And we're halfway through the first charcoal. So we're going to need more than that. But this is how you put stuff into the chamber. Like I showed, you break it open and toss it in. That's why the at least one glass is useful, because then you can see what's in it. It's also kind of cool. Okay, so we can use this interface to automate the process if we wanted to. We're not doing that now. We're, manually doing it. This might take a while. And we're getting close. It's only been most of the day. Now, I don't remember if it's instantaneous or not. Yes, it is. And then I cannot pull it out from there just yet. I have to wait till it's done. And that releases all the pressure. If I put that back in, oh, we still retain some of the pressure. That's nice. If I wanted to make the next part here, I could do that. We lost quite a bit of pressure because it didn't want to drop. But there, I can leave it now, let it repressure up, and we'll get the scaffolding, and then we can make the squeezer so we can get started on the HOP fuel, or HOP graphite, not fuel. And we're probably going to use graphite powder to make the dust, because the other way is to use coal coke, and I don't have all that much coal coke. And I don't feel like using what I do have in order to make the graphite powder when I have access to plenty of graphite. Not there. Right here. To make the rod, we're going to need 4 graphite ingots. To make the ingots, we need 4 graphite dust. So we're going to need 2 stacks of graphite powder. And then we can finally get this arc furnace running, assuming we can get it running with just 1 rod. And last update about the pressure chamber. It appears to be maintaining the internal pressure even after the pump is off. This is of course useful because if you are importing items, you don't have to run the pressure too long to rebuild it up, even if you're punching out the wall to place it in the old-fashioned way. So that'll make it a little bit easier, waste a little less fuel. So let's go up here. I had to move these barrels up here first by themselves because they count as huge items. You can only carry them one at a time. Let's grab our book. We gotta switch it back over to Immersive Engineering. Go down to... Went to Squeze, right? Yes. Okay, so we want scaffolding, and we're gonna put it here for now. Like that, like that. Light engineering block. Pipes. I think that should be fine. And those, and then we want another engineering block there. We want redstone block there. Gonna need to take these. They go in these 4 spots. And then we put the fences and the piston up here. Can I get the... Nah. Let's see if it even matters. Yeah, it matters. And there we go. Let's see, where is the power? I think it's that. Let's grab one of those and one of these. Yes, that was it. Awesome. And then we can toss that in. It's going to drain all the power. And that got us 2. And another 2. That's actually really quick. Okay, so then we need to make the graphite. This goes back into the pressure chamber at 4 bars. And we need 1 of the HOP dust and then either 1 graphite powder or 1 coke dust. And since I made up all of our graphite, we got plenty. Oh, and because you've been telling me to do it, I have set up a few pumps, especially now that I've got extra leather, so I can make new bellows. So we got 1 pump up here, which is cleaning up dust instead of it all falling down there and making a mess and many big explosions. And then I've filled in here with pumps, or with the vents with 1 pump, since you only need 1 pump for... You can have up to 7 vents in either direction. And then I have this little tower here. We've got ash leaves for cleaning up the carbon and charcoal for cleaning up sulfur. Cleaning up the pollution just a little bit, or at least not letting more pollution out when I'm working in here. This still produces pollution. I might be able to set up a chimney to help alleviate that. This produces pollution, and so does this. So let's grab 4 of those. A little more coal. We're going to do this quick. We're going to lose a little bit of pressure when we do it. But if I can do it real quick, since I cannot currently put stuff in that way. I'm going to have to see about how's the best way to import items. We'll keep doing it the old-fashioned way, the very inefficient way. But we only need this to get up to 4 psi. So it should be much quicker. There we go. There's our HOP graphite. And I can take that out. And now we need to turn this into a graphite electrode rod. We can either use the press, but this is inefficient. You get at 50%, or an engineer's blueprint. I think that's the one we have. Engineer's blueprint. No, that's a component blueprint. We need a different blueprint. We need a graphite ingot plus red or blue steel to make this one. And this one specifically for the rods. Okay, so I need to make another ingot. And then I need to make some blue steel. That's going to take me just a little bit of time. Maybe not enough for today, because I still have to edit this. I have been very distracted with the game called Astronauts this past week. It was not productive for me, but it's a fun game. And I blame Rodamont for showing it to me. So yeah, now I have to make blue steel. I've got black steel. I need 2 ingots of blue steel. And blue steel, I can make blue steel or red steel. Blue steel, I could do it in the chamber. Weak blue steel is 2 steel ingots, sterling, and bismuth bronze. And of course, black steel. 2 black steel, 1 regular steel, and then half an ingot of sterling and half an ingot of bismuth would be enough to give me 4. I have bismuth there. Sterling is just silver plus copper. Oh, but I need an extra black steel in order to make the in order to combine it to make blue steel. Right, okay, so I don't even have enough black steel to make blue steel right now. So yes, that will have to wait now. Alright, that's gonna be it for today then. Next episode we'll make the electrode rod, and I'll make 3. We'll test out 1 to see if it does work with 1, but we'll have 3 in case. And that will make making steel much easier. I've been avoiding making as much steel as possible. I need, between the fermentator, the refinery, the diesel generator, something like 200 ingots of steel. And I can do 16 at a time in this one level of the blast furnace, since I turn the wrought iron, or sorry, the cast iron into the double sheets here. So you can do 16 at a time for 1 level. It's not bad. If you preheat them, it goes fairly quickly, honestly. But in order to do bulk, to make 200, that's far too long. So once we have the arc furnace up, we can make steel in the arc furnace by combining either coal coke dust, and wrought iron ingots, or steel dust. And we can actually make wrought iron ingots in the arc furnace by combining cast iron with coke, and it has to be coke. I could have sworn there was another way to make the cast iron in the arc furnace also. We can turn it into pig iron by doing flux, the cast iron, and charcoal. So similar to the bloomery, but minus the actual having to use the bloomery. So we're going to do that in order to allow us to make a lot of steel quickly. I do need to, however, collect a lot of iron in order to do that, since we've completely exhausted our iron supply yet again. And our drill produces iron pretty decently over there, but it does produce mostly copper. So I might have to move it to a new location where I can get mostly iron out of it. So we'll get the arc furnace right next episode, and we'll test out a few things, and hey, maybe we'll have the diesel generator running by the end of the episode. Ooh, but now that we got the pressure chamber done, we can actually pursue other things too, like mechanism. Mechanism requires infused alloy and basic control circuits, which require the pressure chamber, and that, honestly, not that much pressure either. And this biogenerator is actually not that bad. 2 raw iron ingots, 2 infused alloy. This does require redstone resonance coil, which is copper and redstone. That's cheap. This basic control circuit. We do need to make HOP graphite, and we need plastic sheets. We can make the plastic in the thermo-pneumatic processing plant by combining either biodiesel, which we'll be making using the fermentator, or LPG, and that requires gasoline, which we need the distillation tower for. We're not there yet, but if I figure out where I was, here we go. We can go back and look at plastic. Once we can make plastic, which shouldn't be that difficult, we can turn it into these sheets, which can be used for all the different mechanism blocks. Like I said, this biogenerator. And this takes biofuel. We can get biofuel by tossing leaves into the crusher. I don't know how much power one of these biofuel produces. Doesn't show it. But if it's literally just leaves, we can go outside and shear a couple leaves and have not free power, but a ready supply of power. Something to look at next episode. Until then, thank you for joining me today. I hope you've had a wonderful day. Hope you had a wonderful new year. And I'll see you next time. Later.